Today we're going to be working with comparing integers. So before we get into that, let's review some different types of numbers. And the way you need to think about this is just like there's different types of dogs, there's little chihuahuas to German shepherds and all that. They're still dogs, okay? And so these numbers are still numbers, but they have different names to them. And so the first is the counting numbers, and those are ones you're probably pretty familiar with. 1, 2, etc. And it keeps going. And so whole numbers, all whole numbers do is add the 0 into that. And then it keeps going. Okay. What integers do is they have the negative numbers as well as the whole numbers. So, for example, and it can keep going that way, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, etc. So these keep going that way. These can continue both ways. And so we have learned from what we've done is that integers can represent a positive or a negative change in what is being discussed. And so, just as a reminder, a positive integer can be used to show a gain. So it's a value that's greater than 0, an increase, a deposit, I think of money going into your account. So it is a gain, it is an increase. These are all right here some key words for positive integers. A negative integer can be used to show a loss. It is a value that is less than, oops, did that the wrong way. It's less than 0. It is a decrease. It is a withdrawal. Think money coming out of your account. And so right here are the key words for negative. And if you still have your notes from the beginning of the year, you should have, we did a whole thing on just the key words for integers. And so hopefully you still have that, but we'll be working more with it. So we need to talk about 0. 0 is neither a positive or a negative, okay? And it is a whole number, but it's not considered to be a positive and it's not considered to be a negative because the idea of positive and negative numbers, it is defined in terms of 0. And you'll see that as we're working with a number line with this, that it's all in reference to how close or how far it is away from 0. It's just like 1 is neither prime or composite. 0 is neither positive or negative. It's just a whole number. It's really considered a neutral number, but it's not a positive and it's not a negative. So let's look at our number line, and we need to fill in our integers on it. We're going to go with positive and negative. So we're going to go in increments of 1. So the easiest for me to start with is this side. There. These guys are my positive numbers. Normally we're not going to see these with this plus sign with them. Sometimes you'll find at the beginning of when you're starting to work with integers they will, but you've been seeing these numbers pretty much your entire life, and they've never had the plus sign with them saying it's a positive 2, positive 3. So if you see something that says positive 3, it's talking about that number right there. Okay, so let's do our negatives now. And our negatives are -1, -2. And what that's saying is we're 1 step below 0, we're 2 steps below 0, we're getting farther and farther away. All right, hopefully yours are a little bit neater, but these are negatives. And there, everything is in reference to 0. 0 is neutral, okay? So we're going to be messing with this. We're going to be comparing and ordering with these. And so I want you to think about this number line and how it's in reference to 0. So let's look down here. It says, so we're going to compare, fill in the blank with either a less than or greater than sign. And so we have to look at it. Okay, and so we have -8 and -4. Which one will it be? All right, so we need to look at our numbers, and we're going to look at our first one. This -8 is the farthest away from 0. So -8 is less than -4 because -4 is closer. Conversely, -4 is greater than -8. And remember, the alligator always wants to eat the most, so it's going to point to the greater number. Greater than -8. So it is in reference to where it is to 0. The closer it is to 0, the larger it is, okay? So now we're going to order from least to greatest, and honestly this is an order, but we need to look at it and why. Here's 0. So the furthest one away is -6. Then the next one we see is -2. Then we have 0, and then we have 8. So the smallest, the least, is the farthest away from 0. So really when we talk about everything positive and negative in relationship, it is how far it is away from 0, okay? So just like 8 is farther away, so it's larger, -8 is the most away, so it's the least. So it's an interesting concept to get used to, but the rules with it are actually a lot of fun. So what you're going to do now is pause and do your classwork, and obviously get that checked, and let's try and get our homework done in class today. All right? Yeah, let's do that. All right. Bye.